So everything's back from the powder coaters. The blast tape that I put on had melted in the oven, so they needed to replace it with the tape that they had. So I was worried about this final drive actually leaking oil in the process, but they said they had no dramas. It was just a matter of having to replace that tape on all the places where I put it initially. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. It looks absolutely awesome. So you may be wondering, why on earth would you go to all that effort of putting on all the powder coated parts when you're just going to have to take them off again anyway when you get the frame done and you do the hoop at the back? Well, ordinarily you probably wouldn't do that, but the reason is I'm working on 2 bikes at a time. I have this one hydraulic lift table which I keep taking this bike off and putting the other one up when I'm going between the two, and if I didn't put this rear end on, I wouldn't be able to move the bike. So that is the reason behind me actually putting this together and making it a rolling bike, so I can constantly take this one down, move it, put it on the ground, and then just bring this guy back up again when I'm working on him. So by spending that little bit of time now, like putting the actual brake shoes in, cleaning out the inside of where the actual axle sits, if I do it now and put it back together like I have now, then when I do the final assembly, it all just goes really smooth because I know that I've done those things and I know it all fits. And also this bar here, for instance, the hole was a little bit smaller than it should be because the powder coat was on the inside. So I just got a rat's tail file and filed that out. So I've done all these little bits and pieces to make it fit. Okay, so when I built this exhaust, it's just touching just under here, just under the frame. So I can't quite slide anything in there because it's touching. And over time, if I was to leave that like that, over time the vibration and everything will probably wear a hole in the actual exhaust tube. If I was to pull this down, it'll probably touch the lever here because it's a really tight tolerance just in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple of these bits of scrap, it's 1.6 thick, just one in there and then one on the back side of there, just to keep it out. And then I'll actually put a couple of tacks on this bracket that holds this muffler, because what that'll do, it'll pull it out. That'll keep it out while I tack that, and then once I pull those out, there'll be that gap. It's not in there real hard, like I can actually pull it and I can pull it away. So just that tiny little bracket on the muffler up here will be enough just to keep it away and keep it away for good. So anyway, this is probably going to get wrapped all the way up to here, so it'll have the protection of the wrap as well, but that'll just give the clearance so that I have enough room for the wrap. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So now that I've made the mounting bracket here on this muffler, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a baffle inside here. And this is the one I'm going to use. It's just a very generic, pretty basic baffle. So unfortunately it just doesn't quite fit in here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this exhaust system down to my local exhaust place and get him to flare this out just ever so slightly, just so that that fits. And then once that's flared, then I'll also get him to flare this end as well, so that I can get that over the top. Pretty simple stuff really. I just thought I'd show you the process. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use these scalloped out sections to my advantage. The one on the other side of this pipe, so on the back, I'm going to drill a little hole to locate this, and once this is in place, I mean this is just a baffle, it's adjustable, it's pretty inexpensive, you can get them online and you can just adjust it to whatever sound you want. I don't even know if it's going to be any good, but it's just something that it is a challenge to try and keep under the budget, so I just grabbed this to see how it would go. This is just a straight through muffler, there's really nothing in there, so there are other alternatives. You can use like fiberglass wool to quiet it down, or you can use chicken wire, I've heard works as well. And there's so many different things you can do, but this is just one way that I decided I'd go. So put that in there, mount that with one screw using the scalloped out section. To take this muffler off, all I need to do is undo that bolt there, which is the mounting, and then also the clamp which I get, which will be similar to this one, a little bit skinnier this way, and I think it's going to look a lot less rusty. So that's something that I've ordered online, just wait till that turns up. But for now I'm just going to mount this guy and get it ready to go.
And I feel